was telling us that he's planning to play you in the preseason opener, not much, but just to get a few snaps. Are you looking forward to getting a few reps in the game?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Go out there and just just get that feeling. Like even the other night was a little bit weird. Just being in the stadium is totally different than a practice. So just getting that underneath my belt, I think it'll be like a huge confidence booster. Just for a little bit, just something. So
The first few practices in camp, you're out there, you're doing your thing, but it's the last few you've really started to pop to us in the backfield consistently, tapping the quarterback on the shoulder, for the practice sacks. I mean, have you felt yourself get more and more comfortable as these days have gone on?
Yeah, I'm getting more and more comfortable, but not nowhere near where I want to be. I've had to take a few steps back to go forward a couple times, and I've had to tell myself that that's okay. From a football standpoint, not a physical standpoint, just like the mental part of the game, the actual plays and stuff like that. So I'm slowly but surely I'm getting there.
Have you thought, or maybe you will before Friday night, before you go out on the field, just the last year and everything, all the hard work you put in, and just the rehab and get back to where you are from such a devastating injury, and just to be back on the field? I wonder if that moment has occurred to you yet, or you think it might on Friday?
No, it really. I mean, it hasn't. I've really just been focused on trying to play well with whatever time I got. But I mean, now that you say it, I am really appreciative just to be back out there. So I probably will, maybe like the night before the game or something like that.
Do you have a feel for maybe what your emotion will be like when you're actually on a field under the lights again, since it's been so long?
I don't know. I think I got that feeling the other night because I was a little antsy being on that stadium and having all the people around again. It was totally different than a practice. So I think I already got that feeling from the green and white scrimmage because I was going out there and I was a little too hesitant. I'm not hesitant, but a little too amped. And I think that was kind of the first feeling of a game feeling, even though it was just fans. It was the lights, it being dark. So I think I got that part out the way. Maybe when I go out there is actually having a actual jersey on, that might be different. The actual pads and stuff like that. But that jitterness and that feeling, I think I got that out in the green and white scrimmage.
What did you mean by you took a couple steps back to go forward? And you get
sometimes this off season I couldn't train as hard as I want to because I would put too much stress on my body, and that would probably mess you up more. So maybe I had to take a day off, and I don't want to take a day off, but you got to do what you got to do to go forward. So that's what I mean. All right, maybe I might be in somewhere I'm thinking about a formation, but I got to know the play call first. And so that's happened to me a couple times throughout training camp where I just all right, I got to take a step back, do the basics, so then I can excel. So each day I'm getting better, and I just got to recognize my mistakes and just keep getting forward and keep going forward to get to the point where I want to be. So that's kind of what I mean, take a couple steps back to go forward,
Carl, what do you recall of the camp that you were having last year? Because obviously it was really good right up to the point you got hurt. It was your first one here. How do you recall of that camp and maybe what your anticipation was, since it was going so well in camp?
I mean, it's all it's all. I mean, yeah, I was having a good camp, but all right, sometimes you'll have all right, you had this many sacks in a play, but how many times are you gonna have this many consecutive third downs in a row? You know what I'm saying? It's all relative based off of what you guys see and stuff like that. So when I look at practice, no matter what, it's what can I really do better? I was never really oh, I'm just, specifically having, okay, yeah, I was having a good camp, I guess, but it's all from a different perspective. It's all right, how many times are we gonna get this many third downs in a row, this many third and longs? Oh, well, they didn't chip a lot last year, so I'm all right, you just want to be real about what you do in practice and how you can improve on everything. But I do feel like I was clicking, but it's hard to say.
Sometimes when a guy comes off a major injury, they want to ease back, maybe sit out a game or two in the preseason, maybe get a couple of reps before the real stuff. Did you ever think of trying it that way?
I don't think it was any different. So this would be the timetable. I had my ACL 3 years ago, and then it was the second preseason game, but then we had 4 preseason games. We only have 3, so a couple snaps here and then maybe some more. It's kind of the same thing as opposed to when we had 4 preseason games a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I am easing my way back into it right now. So
What was the most difficult part of being out last year, watching and not playing, and how who helped you with that most?
I mean, the most difficult part was probably just not being able to put the work, like show the work that you've been putting in, and not being able to play with your teammates, and then just, going out in there and watching the defense, without you. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the most difficult part. But I mean, it is what it is.
You felt around wanting to be better than you were. How do you measure that at this point? How close are you to where you want to be?
Really far off, but I mean, you want to never have a ceiling. You want to be the best. Like, you want to set expectations that like can't humanly be reached. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean, like better than like as far as I'm able to take it. That's how good I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't see myself like ever not trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, or become a better player. Like, I'm going to work or try to find whatever avenue I can to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do whatever I can to get to that point. So that's what I mean by like better than what I was,
From a guy who missed all of last season to a guy who's going to miss all this season, did you say anything to Makai Becton when the news came out? Did you have a chance to talk to him? And secondly, Carl, like, how do you feel across the line of scrimmage about the guys stepping in there, Adoga, Max Mitchell? What confidence level you have in them that they'll be able to fill a spot?
Honestly, I haven't talked to Makai about it, and if he ever wanted to, he's got so many people talking to him right now. But I just know if you want something, you go get it. Outside of what the rest of the world reports on you or whatever they say, or how many people you'll do, like you'll sacrifice to go get your dreams. And we live in a world where the negative is the big thing to look at. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a tough road for him, and he's gonna have all these different ears in his head. He's gonna have social media, all these different things, and it might cloud his judgment, it might not. I don't know. I don't know what his story is gonna be. But if you want something, you'll find a way to sacrifice whatever you can and go get it. And as far as the tackle depth, I mean, maybe I observe a lot of film. I mean, I think Chuma is very talented, very, very talented. Has very, very, very long arms, really, 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 really quick feet. And I think a lot of people on the team will tell you that as well. So I haven't gone against Max, but that's just my evaluation of him.
Can you articulate yourself to be the best at all times, but also you've had to acknowledge that you have limitations. Like, how difficult is that balance for you, and is there anything you've learned about yourself through that process?
That you have to grow, you have to adapt. You know what I'm saying? In any field that you have. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna get the most production out of having a rest day, as stubborn as I am, got to have a rest day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's certain times where I push myself and I've might have overdone it, and just to figure something out, and that's not always the best course of action. So go ahead.
You mentioned, if you want it badly enough. Can you articulate how much you wanted it after getting hurt last year, and to get back to this point where you're on the field again, about to play a game?
Want it as bad as you want to breathe. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, and it's not a bad thing to sometimes just back off of certain things. You know what I'm saying? But if you anything you do, it's it's a give and take. It's a sacrifice. And what are you willing to sacrifice to get to a certain point? How many times are you willing to, go through something? I mean, with my injuries and stuff in the past, it's nothing that's going to prohibit me from messing up my long-term life. I mean, ACL and Achilles. I mean, these are things that over time, if you work hard enough and you got the right people in your corner, you can recover from. Now, if I go out there and lose an eye or something like that, then all right, I won't be out. So an eye, maybe a limb, maybe some devastating back things, stuff that prohibit my quality of life later on. But these are all things that are just temporary pain, and can be worked through. So I'm willing to go ahead and keep bouncing back in order to try to achieve my dreams. So that's kind of what I mean by that. It's how bad do you want it? What do you want to sacrifice? And like I said, I'm not really willing to sacrifice limbs for football. So.
How much do you think you mean to this team?
I think I mean a lot, but I think everybody means just enough from head coach to GM to special teamers to people who make our food. Like everybody's got a role in this, and that's what it's all about. And like, everybody coming together, and so we can get have a common goal of getting this Super Bowl in New York. That's the reason why we're here. You know, that's the goal.
Take a few more.
When you talk about slowing down or taking a step back, do you think there's anything you've learned from that can benefit your game on the field through this recovery process?
Yeah, just being fresher, and then like being able to click on all cylinders and not be burnt out and stuff like that.
Did you feel burned out on occasion before?
I have sometimes, but that was just just throughout time. Like I just know certain things in my body, particularly that like in order to get the best out of me, I have to do certain things. So.
What are your expectations for you in making an impact and all that stuff? Where do you see individual success for you in aligning with that impact?
Individual success.
Yeah. In terms of what do you think you do on the field in terms of impact and how you feel?
Like I said earlier, I have the most ridiculous expectations for myself. So I want 100 sacks in a season. Like you know what I'm saying? I want it all. I want to do something that's not supposed to be possible. That's my expectation for myself, and that's why I constantly feel like I'm behind. So I'm just gonna, that's my expectation. Those are my goals. But as a group, I just want to go. I'm going to help my brothers on the D line. So.
What's the one thing that kept you going most all last year when you weren't playing and you're grinding and you're trying to rehab and all that stuff? What was the carrot, so to speak?
The fact that you have an opportunity. I've sat in this and watched different people around the league for years. I remember how people used to talk bad about certain players, and the next thing they're the greatest thing on earth. I have an opportunity, and people have given me opportunity, and as long as I got an opportunity, I'm gonna go try to take advantage of it. So when no one wants you anymore, or you just can't go anymore, that's when you got to be worried. But that's what kept me going is, hey, I got an opportunity to come back, and I got an opportunity to play for as long as someone is allowing me to play. So.
What do you want the identity of this next season? What do you want other teams to say after they play you guys?
Violence, fast, physical, and just like that respect. Like one of the best things and one of the best feelings, like win, lose, or draw, is when other players come up to you after a game and give you respect. You know what I'm saying? That's like for me personally, that makes it all worth it sometimes, because it's like, all right, the hard work that you really just put in is like, it pays off. Because I'm not dissing like anybody who's like a reporter or anything like that, but you don't specifically know in detail what's like going on, what people play, like how that. But like when you get from your peers or something like that, it's special. It really is. So that respect factor that you get from another opponent after a game is like, it means the world to me.
Have you visualized that first sack back? And will that be like the exclamation point for you? Like, all right, I got the sack, or even a tackle. Like that's where I'm back, and I know it.
No, because then again, you can get like a pressure sack off somebody else. So no, I'm not really thinking of it like that. Maybe just like a really good rush. I'd be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But like
Have you visualized that though?
Yeah, I visualize stuff. I visualize making plays. One of my former teammates told me to do that, and it really helped my game. Like start the night before, visualize yourself making plays. It helps a lot.
Who was the teammate that told you that?
It was actually Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard, he used to, we still talk a lot now, but he was telling me about how he used to go through visualizing making plays and giving himself that confidence. And I think it was on my year coming off of ACL, with my second one, and I was like, like that really did give me like a little confidence booster, because you can go through it in your mind and stuff like that, and it really helped my game towards the second half of that season. So shout out to Sam for that.
In terms of your game, what do you feel like is the next step?
Finishing. That was something that I wanted to work on when I got here last year. Then I got hurt. That reminds me, I need to go work on that in practice. So appreciate you bringing that up.